Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back from the holiday break and leading into New Year. So I hope you all had a good holiday and that you're gearing up to have a happy New Year. Um, I don't know, as you can tell, I got a little bit of a cold, so today I'm working from home. Just because I don't know, with everything going on, you don't want to spread anything around that you don't have to. But yeah. So today for our afternoon class, we're going to go over part three of healthy relationships. So I won't make this drag out too much. But it is important to know. I mean, we went over making sure you find somebody that's single, available, and wanting you, and. And then we went over the signs of a good relationship. Well, then, it's also important to know when you're seeing red flags in a relationship. So when things aren't going well, and perhaps maybe you didn't find the best match. And then, of course, you can repeat these steps. Now, hopefully, you never have to run into red flags. Every relationship, sorry, every relationship is going to have red flags. Because no relationship is perfect. People are going to argue. But it depends on kind of the length of the arguments, how often they happen, and things like that, or. But there are other red flags as well. So we'll go over that real fast. I apologize for the sniffling. All right, so relationship red flags. So these are things to look for. This seems a little bright. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. All right. So your relationship should contribute to a sense of fulfillment, happiness, and connection. If you tend to feel more anxious, distressed, or unhappy around your partner, yeah, your relationship may be struggling. Signs of unhealthy relationships can vary widely, so this isn't an all-inclusive. That means there can be more things than just what's listed here, but it may help point out some possible issues. So, the first one is one of you tries to control or change the other. So, we are never in control of changing another person, Anton says, which is one of the doctors from this. If you're concerned about a specific behavior, you should feel comfortable enough to bring it up. So it's okay to express your feelings and ask them to consider making changes. But it's not okay to tell them what to do or attempt to control their behavior. Pardon. If they do something that really bothers you and you can't accept it, the relationship may not have long-term potential. So again, there might be aspects of somebody that you aren't the happiest with, but at the same time, you can't change who a person is. Just like nobody should try to change you. But we can always better ourselves. It's all in the way that we kind of ask or talk about it. So, next one is your partner doesn't respect your boundaries. So boundaries can come into play across your relationship, from respectful communication to privacy needs. If you set a boundary and they push against it or pressure you to change it, that's a serious red flag. Maybe you said I need more personal space when I get home from work. I'm happy to see you, but I need to de-stress before any physical contact. And you know, and it's fair. Somebody just gets home from work. And so you might see this as a sign of a brush off, as a sign of affection, and keep restarting the boundary, hoping they'll get it eventually. But their behavior shows disrespect for your needs. So that was, yeah. So I mean, there are plenty of times you say, I need to unwind. I just got home from work. Um, so I'm gonna go and work on something that just to take my mind off of work. But then I'll be back. But make sure that you respect that time, their time, but they should also respect yours. My glasses are really putting up. Anyway, I shouldn't make myself laugh. Okay, another red flag is you don't spend much time together. So, relationships often develop when people enjoy each other's company and want to spend even more time together. Life events can sometimes get in the way of your time together, but these changes are usually temporary. Your relationship might be struggling if you consistently see less of each other without a clear reason, such as family difficulties or more responsibilities at work. Other warning signs include feeling distant with each other or relieved when you aren't together. You might even try to find excuses to avoid spending time together. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. Yeah, when people don't want to spend time with each other and they try to avoid spending time together, or just one person does. It doesn't always have to be the both of you, but if you notice they seem really relieved to be away from you all the time, that's kind of a red flag. You wanna maybe talk to them about it, but really look at that flag. Okay, next up is the relationship feels unequal. So healthy relationships tend to be fairly well balanced. You might equally share finances or balance out a lower income by running more errands. But relationship equality can also relate to intangible things such as affection, communication, and relationship expectations. Periods of inequality can happen from time to time. So one of you might temporarily lose your income. It happens all the time, so you lose your job or something like that. Struggle to help with chores because of illness or feel less affection due to stress or other emotional turmoil. But if your relationship feels unbalanced in any way, this can become problematic. So if you notice that, say, because I had a relationship like this one, that you're doing everything, and they're constantly gone, which kind of goes into the other one. Like you're working, you're doing your thing, and they don't do anything. They just kind of come home, pop their stuff down, and then just leave. And you're like, yeah, okay, maybe they're going through something. Then after a good period of time, they're coming home, and they seem happy everywhere else. They just don't seem happy at home. Yeah, and you're doing all the work. Well, that'll cause stress. So next up is they say negative, hurtful things about you to other people. Let's see. How many more of these do we have? Because I know we don't want to go. But this one seems pretty obvious. Okay, we only got 2 more pages. Okay, this might have 4 parts. Sorry. So criticism that makes you feel ashamed or bad about yourself is generally unproductive. So if they're pointing out something where it's like, pardon me, that's just generally hurtful. or say really negative things about you to other people, like insult your intelligence, call you names. Maybe it says here make um, hate speech, slurs, or make discriminatory remarks about others. Well, yeah. So and say sorry. So I apologize. Let me go back. So also take note of how they talk about others. Your relationship with each other should seem perfectly healthy. Could seem perfectly healthy, but if they use hate speech, slurs, or make discriminatory remarks about others, consider what this behavior says about them as a person. So that is definitely one you want to be careful with. The way they talk about other people, because all that anger, all that vitriol, that could turn on you. And if it does start to turn on you, that is a huge red flag. Okay, I think there's only four left. Okay. You don't feel heard in the relationship. Um, Maybe you don't feel heard because they seem disinterested when you bring up a problem or hear something that's been on your mind. Or you might have a hard time sharing your opinion or talking about serious issues because you worry they'll just brush you off. Miscommunications can happen, of course, but if you do talk through an issue and they seem receptive but don't make any changes or seem to have completely forgotten what you talked about the next day, that's also a warning sign. So if they act engaged, like, yeah, I'm hearing you, it's like, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Yeah, that's a warning sign. You don't want to be there. Okay, so next one is you're afraid of expressing disagreement. Partners should always feel safe to have their own opinions, even when this means they disagree. If your partner responds to your different viewpoint with dismissal, contempt, or other rudeness, this often suggests they don't respect you or your ideas. Yeah, if you find yourself censoring everything you say because you worry about the reaction or feel like you're walking on eggshells every day, as Anton put it might be time to seek professional help, or basically that's therapy, couples therapy. So if that's how you feel that everybody, they're like, hey, no, I don't agree with you on this, and there's like, whatever. I mean, people should be able to hear each other out. Doesn't mean we have to agree, but we should be able to hear each other out. Okay, next is you don't feel happy or comfortable around your partner. For many people, key relationship goals include increased happiness and life satisfaction. If you feel uneasy or happy all the time, the relationship may not be meeting your needs. This can happen when you're both putting effort into the relationship, and people they change over time. So feeling dissatisfied or trapped doesn't necessarily mean you've done anything wrong. You may just become different people. So, yeah, if that's the case, that is a huge red flag if you both kind of moved on from each other. But a lot of times, from what I've seen in a lot of relationship, that just means people remain friends, and um, and that's just fine. But sometimes people move on. But that is a red flag for a relationship if you both moved on. And lastly, disagreements or discussions don't go anywhere. So healthy conflict resolution typically leads to solutions or compromise. Maintaining relationship is an ongoing process, so you might not work everything out the right way, but usually feel very good about your conversations afterward and usually see some progress. So basically, this just means, a lot of the time, if there is a compromise, say, hey, like, I'll do this if you help with this, or I see this going on, can you help me? And I'll help you by doing this. Or we can do this or that and try to work things out. quite well that way. If people are just hunkered down in their opinion and they just say no, 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 like your happiness isn't important, that's another red flag in a relationship. That means it's not going very well. So I'm sorry, so we won't end on this one, sir. There will be a fourth class, but that'll be it. That's all the information I have for now. So anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, especially if it's something to add, because I would really like y'all to add to it, or ask any questions, or follow up, like, can you tell me more about this? This is something I'd like to know more about. When it comes to relationships, I would be happy. And these are for relationships of all types, everyone. Anyone who you know could be in a relationship. So, anyway, miss you all. Hope you had a good holiday. And I will see you hopefully soon. Okay, bye for now.